Welcome, everybody, to the desk. It is I, Jacob Moore, the host, sports analyst, joined by the greatest crew of all.
Oh,
but not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So if you're expecting Rudolph, you're not getting Rudolph.
I'm the GOAT, so...
It is the GOAT, who is never bit by a spider, Mr. Adam. And, of course, the dashingest of the Dashinators, Lane Dashing Dashco.
What a win. Damn.
What a day.
What like I also said it's the final day of the career of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah, we knew
what
that.
An absolute horrid performance. Absolutely abysmal performance.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers certainly did struggle today. There's no...
Like, CJ Stroud didn't play much better, but I will say he got the job done. The team around him and the team around him got the job done.
Wow, they lost 30-6. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was 23 point unanswered in the fourth quarter. 2 defensive, a pick 6 and a fumble.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is cooked.
Yeah, it was just bad. That was just a bad game for him.
When we look at Aaron Rodgers' stats for today, right?
50 rating.
146 yards, 0 touchdown passes, 1 interception.
50.8 rating. Oh my goodness.
Let's be and you could tell too by Aaron Rodgers in the media, his career's done. And as whether you know what, I've been kind of vocal. I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan in the world. But at the end of the day, to see a legendary quarterback's career finish the way it did there, not the way you want to see it. But Aaron Rodgers really struggled today.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Sports, the one thing you can't be, you can beat Connor McDavid, you can beat Crosby. The one thing you can't beat is Father Time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
unless you're Sidney Crosby, then you literally can, because he's still.
Well, eventually he'll. But I'm just saying, eventually he'll have to retire too.
Yeah,
no,
like,
for sure.
You can't play till you're 45, 50. You can't do it. You can try, but eventually you're gonna just slow down.
I will say, I think the biggest issue for Pittsburgh, and I thought this going in, like for the last couple of weeks, certainly, that Pittsburgh team, like DK Metcalf, a decent pickup. But I don't think that team was ever as good as their record suggested they were. 10 wins means you're a good team. Despite having 7 losses, it means you're a good team. You've won double-digit games. You don't do that by mistake. But I think their record was worse than what they truly were. And you could say the same thing about the Texans. The Texans were 0-3 to start the year and then ripped off a 12-2 record to end the year. I don't think 12-5 showed exactly what the Texans were.
Welcome to the desk. Love the Minecraft emoji.
I don't think their record exactly illustrated who they were this year either. So I think it's interesting
at the end of the day, the Texans were able to get the job done today, right?
Yeah.
And
I think the Texans were the better team heading in.
Well, yeah,
and they proved
I would agree.
They went out there. That defense is scary. Like, that defense is going to be trouble for the... Is it the Patriots they're playing next week?
I think so, yeah.
And I will say, because New England's going to be without Christian Gonzalez because he's in concussion protocol. I don't think he'll be available next week. If he is, apologies. Because I just assumed he's not going to be because he's in concussion protocol. But like, I think New England's defense is not as good without him. But this Texans defense is so good. It comes as advertised. It is a scary D.
It is, and they got that big win today, winning 30-6. And Key, welcome back to the desk. And hey, better late than never, but never late is better. They say time is money. Let's spend it together.
Where the hell is that echo coming from?
Lane, because he ran away, so I just muted his mic.
That makes sense.
Don't get too hype. Well, we can get as hyped as we want, David, because that's how we roll. And the Toronto Maple Leafs also got a very big win today. How are you feeling about that win today, Mr. Adam?
I'm loving it. I thought staying with a team as good as Colorado is, because I think Colorado are going to win the Stanley Cup this year. I think unless they have a major meltdown, that team is the best team in hockey.
They are.
And they stuck with them. I will say, down 2-1, I was a little worried they might pull away, but Bobby McMahon with a good breakaway goal on a mistake from Colorado.
It was.
Austin Matthews with a vintage Austin Matthews snipe.
Austin Matthews!
6 goals in his last 7 games, I think it was. Like, that's great. And it was only, I think they said it was the 24th goal Colorado has given up in the 3rd period in a game this season. That is scary. That is a scary fact.
Remember, too, this is Colorado also snapping that 17-game home winning streak.
Yeah, they are an amazing team. And I'm proud of the way Joseph Woll played today. I'm proud of how the team played. Like, let's go over some statistics here. Because I thought, so 31-34 shot-wise in favor of Colorado. It wasn't a very, they weren't hitting a lot in this game, of course. Both very skilled teams. But, Colorado, 22 giveaways to 15 for the Leafs. So the Leafs winning the not turning the puck over a lot. Mm-hmm. They had 8 takeaways to Colorado's 3. They took care of the puck a lot better. But they blocked. I think this is key, because I thought this is what Toronto has been doing well the last 2 years. 22 block shots. So 22 less shots we're getting in on Woll tonight, which is big. Colorado only blocking 12. So the Leafs were able to get the puck in on Colorado, which was big. And I thought this was the best game, I think, the most complete, I won't say the best, the most complete game Toronto has played this season from start to finish, because I think a lot of people didn't expect a lot from this game. Some people did, of course, specifically people from our chat. But I didn't expect this game to be a blowout win for the Leafs. I expected this to be a close, hard-fought battle. And this is the way the Leafs need to play to go out there and get into the playoffs.
I agree. And I also want to give
this was a statement victory.
And I am going to swallow my pride a little bit here, the way I swallow this delicious water bottle. Not the whole bottle, just the water inside it. But Brandon Carlo, ever since coming off the injury, looks like the Brandon Carlo that they traded for. He is playing big. He's playing physical. He's blocking lots of shots. Like, I am very, very happy with the way Brandon Carlo's playing right now. And so he's kind of replacing what Chris Tanev was doing before the Chris Tanev injury. And I thought the whole defense looked great. You think of Simone Benoit on the penalty kill when Nice's stick breaks, and you get the phenomenal defensive play. Even on the game-winning goal, it's a William Nylander back check. You don't say that very often, William Nylander and back check, but you got a big William Nylander back check in this game. And look, and I want to say this too, and no disrespect to anyone in our chat, we're all entitled to our opinions, and that's fine. But you're seeing why when, myself and Adam, no offense, Lane, I've been really calling out saying, don't trade Austin Matthews. Don't trade William Nylander. These are high-skilled guys that can make plays. The team just isn't gelling right now. Well, all of a sudden, the team's gelling. They have points in their last 10, and you're going to get people saying, well, Colorado had their third-string goalie in. To be honest, I don't really care, because I actually thought he played pretty damn well. And what you got tonight, you got to see what this Leaf team can do when everything's rolling. Now, Nick Robertson did face an injury, which is tough. He's actually having a really good year. But Lane, we've heard a lot from Adam and I. What are your thoughts on this one?
I was just about to ask you guys a question, Lane. Before you go, Lane, I do have a question. I won't answer this question. It's more so for you guys, because I want to let Lane talk, of course, after I ask this. You can give your thoughts plus answer this, Lane. But I wanted to know, with the way Brandon Carlo's been playing since he came back, are you still pro trading Brandon Carlo to get something back, or would you rather keep him with the way he's been playing? Of course, if he keeps playing this way.
Well, it's funny because I think you missed the last show I addressed this because I know you were on a train from Ottawa, so I think
Yeah.
you missed this comment. I did ask the guys, I said, I did a gas or ass saying, we talked about trading all the guys
okay.
out, but should we trade guys in now because we're actually doing good? But it's time for a little Lane rant. And yes, we win. And yes, you're still getting a Dashko rant because this whole bleeping season, Jacob's going. Me and him were fighting it out on the video saying it's coaching, it's the players, it's coaching, it's the players. It's clearly not the coach because the whole thing he told you to do for the last 4.5 months, back check, play 60 minutes, play hard, shoot the damn puck on the net, play the damn game. If you just do that, you win. And they went, I don't want to do it. I don't feel like it. And they lost, and they lost, and they lost. And now they're finally doing it, and they're winning bloody hockey games. It's a miracle. Holy crap, it took them 6.5 months to figure out, wait, if we just play the game for 60 minutes, we can actually win that damn hockey game. It's so frustrating because they could have been doing this the whole time. They finally bought in. They're finally listening to their coach. They're finally playing with chemistry. They're finally playing 60 minutes, and it's actually paying off, and now they look like a professional hockey team. Holy crap, man. What? It's clear. So this goes back to the whole conversation. It was never the coach. The whole time, it's the effort of the players. It has been with Keith. It's been with them. Because when they actually listen with their 2 ear holes and do the thing the coach is saying, they win games.
Now, the only thing, Lane, I do want to point out, and then I am going to address Adam's questions. Adam, I think you got a great question there.
Seriously, where was it at the start?
I will say this, though, and yeah, we do have some comments here. Where was it at the start? And we have some other comments we got to get to. But you can also argue what happened as soon as they fired Mark Savard. The power play woke up from its grave.
Yeah, true.
Right? And hear me out here. When your power play is playing well and you're scoring, what does that do to your top player?
Confidence. I get that.
Confidence. I honestly feel that Mark Savard, you can argue, has been the problem under the Craig Berube era. And ever since they have replaced
50-50.
Mark Savard, well, numbers don't lie. The power play under Sullivan is clicking just under 40%.
Jacob, my point is
best power plays in the NHL.
I get that, but Jacob,
but like, hear me out, Lane. Like 5-on-5, the Leafs have actually not been terrible for big stretches in this season. It's just when they needed a power play goal, they just couldn't get it. And I also would say for Berube, I think the biggest thing is he finally lost the power cord to his blender and has left the lines relatively alone. So
because they actually deserve to not get switched up.
But I felt that times, like when he split up the Joshua, Waugh, and McMahon line, that line deserves to stay together, and he split it up. Where now he's not doing that, right? Look how well Marcelli's playing with Tavares and Nice. Look how well Matthews is playing with Domi.
You see my point, though, right?
No, I absolutely do. And the players have finally woke up. But I also feel the coaching staff has finally woken up and saying maybe we'll get some chemistry if we don't change the lines every 5 seconds. Now, to answer Adam's question, and then I got to get to some comments. I will admit, right now, I am currently wrong. I was not impressed with Brandon Carlo since he got here. I don't know when he got injured if he just decided to watch a lot of tape, a lot of film, a lot of SD cards, however the hell they record it. And he really fixed his game because right now him and Morgan Riley are actually playing well together. And I could say the same thing to people who have said about Morgan Riley. Riley's been playing a lot better of late. Right?
Still not a big fan of him, but oh well.
Late numbers don't lie. Riley's playing much better of late ever since he's got Brandon Carlo as a partner. And I've said this about Morgan Riley his entire career. He gets put with AHL defensemen and is expecting NHL results. We finally put him with an NHL defenseman, and things are starting to turn around. But overall, I would say to your comment, Lane, it is proving that Craig Berube can be a coach that can get this team to win. And Adam, to answer your question, unless I'm getting I don't know who I'm getting, but if I'm trading Carlo,
I agree with this last comment,
and someone else, and I'm bringing in like a Nathan McKinnon, then sure. Unless I'm getting one of the like a true player that's going to make this team better, Like a lot better. Like a lot better. I'm not trading Brandon Carlo the way he's playing at the moment.
I
do have a point to make, Dwayne, quickly before you go. I want to answer something you had said.
Yeah, no problem.
I do want to say that while I do agree that there was the lack of effort and the boys had to show up and show that they cared about winning and they put in the effort, I also do want to say I do truly believe that along with the boys having to put in their work of effort, Craig Berube and the coaching staff has to inspire them to give in the effort. They have to the players have to buy into what Berube. So I don't know what Berube was saying for the first couple months or what happened that the players started to kind of tune it out a little bit, because I thought the players bought in fine last year. So I don't know what happened over the summer. I don't know what happened in September, October, November, December, and what's changed now after the Savard firing.
I have
and what happened. I think Matthews, because I was saying this for 2 like straight months. It felt like I kept saying it every show we were on. I was like, I think if Matthews is truly dealing with back pain that won't go away, he's got to find new ways to score. And I was right about that. I think he's finally flipped the switch, and I think he's finally figured it out. It may have
I think he's finally healthy.
Longer. Yeah, I think it's great. I do really hope that he doesn't push himself playing at the Olympics. It hurts.
Yeah.
Re-hurts it. I think that's my biggest concern at the moment.
Well, that's my concern.
And I know Lane and Jacob, you've both expressed concerns over that. I think all three of us have, because I've definitely expressed my concerns over it. And I really hope that he is fine. And I love that he's figured it out. Nylander has looked great. Matty Nyes has looked a lot better recently. John Tavares has looked better recently. Jacob, I know a comment you were laughing at because
Maple Leafs blue. Well. Maple Leafs blue. That's what it is, David.
Yeah, and I've been telling y'all he was going to figure, and I love the way Wall's been playing. I love the way the Hildebeest is playing. I know I saw today Stolars is nearing a return. I really hope we stick with Hildebeest over Stolars and trade Stolars for another player.
Not a bad idea.
I do agree. Back pain can be scary, especially when it's debilitating, which I do believe that's potentially what Matthews was dealing with, was the back pain. And I hope he's really over that. I really do. Sorry if I keep repeating myself.
It's okay.
But yeah, and Lane, I do fully agree with everything you said. And you could go ahead and make it.
Well, Adam, I want to add to something you said, and I want to actually address a comment in the comment section by Funfish about the Leafs talking about his comment about the Leafs being treated like babies. And I actually kind of want to get your, like, I want to put my comment and then see what you guys think, because I do think there was a large part of these players maybe not being treated like babies, but being given what they want, right? William Nylander, Matthews, the Marner, the Tavares. These guys were kind of given, they came out of their rookie deals and they were immediately thrown into Stanley Cup, and we're going to do this, and we're going to give you the contracts, and we're going to give you the endorsements, and we're going to give you first line minutes, and we're going to give you letters, and we're going to give you fancy cars. We're going to do all these things for you. We're going to make you $1 million. We're going to treat you like gods. We're going to sell your jerseys for hundreds of dollars. We're going to do everything we can to pump your tires and make you guys feel like the most important people in this city. And unfortunately, at a young age, that might have got to them to think they have some sort of, like, maybe like they have some say, like, oh, we can, if we don't like the coach, we can play bad and we'll start playing bad. So maybe when things started to go bad in September, October, injuries, this and that, the coach is saying they're not winning games. They started feeling like, you know what? We don't want to play for this guy anymore. We want him gone. So they tried to go back to that whole, like, we're going to drive the bus. We're the narrative. In the past, Brendan Shanahan always did what we wanted. Brendan Shanahan always had our back. The Leafs, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thought process. And maybe for the first time in their whole franchise, Keith Pelly and Brad Living said, not this time. We'll fire.
Kind of
hold
like
on.
quiet parenting.
Yeah, like they finally took the kid gloves off and said, you know what? I know you don't want to listen to your coach. You're not winning. I get it. You're frustrated. Here's what we'll do. We'll fire one coach, but we're not firing the coach you want us to fire. We're going to fire one guy. We'll make a statement to fire this guy, but we're not firing the guy you want. So figure it out. They kind of took. So
sorry,
I think they just took the kid gloves off and said, "We're not going to give you everything you want. We'll help you, but we're not going to give you everything you asked for." Do you think there's some little possibility there?
Yeah. So Lane, I do want to address because if you guys remember, so we'll go back to the Sheldon Keefe.
I like this take here a
Dubas
lot,
days.
by the way.
Yeah, I do want to say we'll go back to the days of Sheldon Keefe and Kyle Dubas. So I want to take you guys back to Sheldon Keefe getting fired. And I want to take you guys back to that summer and when rumors had started to come out about Kyle Dubas. I mean, sorry, not Kyle Dubas. Sheldon Keefe had been treating Mitch Marner, who is a player that's now gone, of course. But I do want to address this because I feel like what you said and what I don't remember who left the comment about them being treated like babies.
It was Funfish, your
Funfish,
hit enemy.
Yes. So I do want to say that it's true because Mitch Marner, it had come out that Keefe had been treating Mitch Marner like he was 5 years old and had been having the kid gloves on, and he had not come out and be very vocal against him and wasn't of Mike Babcock, basically. Like, he wasn't calling him out in the dressing room, wasn't doing it in the media, and was treating him like he was two. And I felt like that was, I don't know if he was doing it with other players, because I'm pretty sure the only player that was mentioned when that came out was Marner. But I've always felt like that was a big reason. Maybe Keefe was doing it with other players and it wasn't really said. But if he was doing it with one guy, it's potential that he was doing it with other players.
For sure. For sure. 100%.
And so I don't think, I really don't think Berube has been doing it, but I wonder if now that the Shanna plan
is gone,
Shanahan's gone, I wonder if the players have kind of reacted a little bit negatively to be losing a guy who is so big for them throughout their careers.
Well,
I love the way that I think they figured it out kind of, and they've figured out their way and have kind of just faced the fact that he's gone. There's not going to be a guy to bat for them, so they have to step up and they got to get back to playing the best hockey they play. And I love that they've gone about it. And I know I don't want to keep saying like Matthews has figured it out. And I love that, but I don't know if it was necessarily, I think it was the kick in the ass of them being in last place in the East and how devastating that is. It was the coaches firing, of course. Dennis Savard getting fired was a big thing.
Mark Savard, not Dennis
Mark Savard. Sorry, not Dennis Savard.
It's okay.
But Mark Savard getting fired. And I love the way that they've responded.
Back to this comment here, right?
Yeah. So this, yes, thank you, Jacob. And they've come out, they've played hard. And I love that they've responded to it and shown that they can play this style of hockey. I hope they continue to play this way. But I love the response. I love the response from Matthews. I love the response from Nyes. I love the response from JT. I love the response from Klingberg. I love the response from Carlo. I love the response from Woll. I love the response from Hildeby. I love the response from every single member of this team, because all of the hate they were getting and all of the deserved criticism they were getting, they have answered it back and have started playing a lot better. Whether they can continue to do this for the next 4 months heading into the back end stretch after, of course, the breaks, is, of course, going to be something that we will see in the future. But yes, I love that you brought that up, Lane, because I think it's a
but
big
just quickly, guys, but before we
point.
get into anything else, I do just want to remind people, little comment section notice here. Let's keep it respectful. Passion is always welcome, but let's have no personal attacks, no hate speech, abusive language, no discrimination, no disrespect. Comments that do go too far will be removed. So I just want to remind everyone that we want to have this super fun community, but let's be as respectful as we can. I just wanted to remind everyone that in the chatterino.
Well, Adam, I want to add on to something you just said, because I think it's true, right? we do actually work at the same place, but we're not going to talk about that place. But let's just say we worked at a bagel shop. Well, all three of us
Bagels?
We work at a bagel shop, and Jacob's been our boss. Jacob over here has been our boss for 8 years, and me and Adam are the guys.
Do the dishes!
We're selling the bagels, and you know when a customer yells at us, we go to Jacob's like, that guy yelled at me, and Jacob's like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Here's $50. Here's a free bagel, and then let's say the bagel shop isn't doing so good, and poor Jacob over here gets fired. But that's our boss. That's the guy we like. We always went to him when we had problems, and he always kind of, delicately handled us, like, had fixed our problems, and when we had issues, kind of helped us with our problems. Now we got a meaner boss who's like, well, I don't care if the guy yelled at you. I'm not giving you your $50. So we be like, oh, we don't want to sell the bagels today. I don't care if we sell 30 bagels. But at the end of the day, you still got to sell the bagels. So now you don't have the fun boss who was like, oh, it's okay. Here's a free coffee, $50, and a free bagel for a month. You have a harder boss who's like, look, bro, that guy's yelling at you because you suck.
Look, and you know what? I will say, I do think that is a big part of it too. And I think, they went too far one way with Babcock, too far the other way with Keefe. And potentially Berube might be this happy medium.
Well, I think Keefe is I think Shanahan's the biggest one.
Well, but like
he was the big boss.
I don't mean to sound like Mr. Moore for your money here. Woo! As he always says. But not that Mitch Marner was an excuse, but I'm going to use it as a reason, and hear me out. I think it has taken this team this long to figure out what to do with less talent and more depth. And I think finally, between coaching and players, I was almost a culture shock because you look, Matthews got paid, Nylander got paid, Tavares got paid. I know we didn't this year, but in previous years. And all of a sudden, they're like, Marner, you're not getting paid. And I actually think that is what took a little bit of time for this Leaf team. And I think you could also say, as Fun Fish is saying, AKA, the babies finally got the man which they hate. And yeah, maybe it is a bit of that. But
I think it is.
But at the end of the day, I think it took this long for the culture shock, which is ridiculous, but it is what it is. And I don't now think we're seeing what Tree Living and Keefe envisioned with a Marnerless Leafs. We see 4 lines of depth. We see a much better penalty kill. We see a much better defensive team. And I think that took a long time to figure out, because if you think about it, you lost a guy that was on your top power play. He was on your top penalty kill. And now look, Austin Matthews isn't killing penalties as much anymore. And what happened? Now he's scoring more often because you have guys like Nicholas Waugh and Scott Lawton. I know he's injured right now, but like a Dakota Joshua, then these guys that can, Steven Lorentz, that go up there and kill penalties, right? And have their roles. That's why the core 4 situation never worked. Or I always argued the core 5 because of Morgan Riley. But the core 5 never worked because you had no money for the rest of the pieces. As Lane always says, I'll use bagels again because, Key wants to know if we sell onion bagels. So let's say, Key, we have the best onion bagels, right? But we don't have our butter sucks, our cream cheese sucks, and the toaster's broken. But we spent the money to buy the best onion bagel money can buy. It's not going to work. And tonight, again, we saw how this team can be with depth. We got to get to more comments, and there is a
Jacob, I do want to address a comment I saw from Funfish. I don't think the Leafs hate Craig Berube. I think it's more so that I think they're accustomed to, so I think it's the adjustment of losing Mitch Marner. I know that's not something we've ever wanted to blame especially me and Jacob. Like, it's not something I want, but I think there is that adjustment. And then I think it's the fact that they were struggling, and maybe the dressing room did want a little bit of a change of style of play. Maybe that is something that they wanted. But I think it was good for them that they didn't get maybe the style of play that they maybe wanted for the change. And I think it's great that they didn't get what they wanted. And I love that they've gone back to what Berube wanted them to play and have again, bought into it. They bought into it great last year. I don't know what happened. Maybe they did want to be able to attack more. And maybe there was just the adjustment period with some newer pieces coming in and all that. And I love that they figured it out. It's never too late, I think, especially with how close the East has been this year. I don't think there was ever, like, of course there was too late, but like, I don't think now was too late for them to finally figure it out and really get going.
They're in the playoffs as of right now.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think,
again.
and I don't ever want to say that the coach is somebody they hate, because they hated Mike Babcock. That much was obvious. But they never hated Sheldon Keefe. Like, you just see all the players of how they talked about Sheldon Keefe.
But I think Sheldon Keefe was too soft. Like, I'm not saying he's a terrible coach, and some players respond better to that. But I think, again, maybe it was they brought in a guy like Sheldon Keefe because of the way Mike Babcock was, who we're hearing now.
Yeah.
I doubt Marner was the only player he did things to. Like, I don't, like, mentally. And your mental health is as important as physical, and we all know that, right? But at the end of the day, the Leafs get a big win, as Wilder pointed out. I will find that comment again. Nylander, Leafs win if Nylander scoring the game winner. And what I loved about that again, too, it's a great Nylander back check. Austin Matthews with a goal and an assist. As I threw on the screen earlier, Austin Matthews in his last 6 games has 7 goals and 3 assists over his last 6 games, playing at a very, very high level. But I do want to move on to a little bit of football, because we did get some football comments here, and and they were talking about Mr. Aaron Rodgers and how this, and we did this at the start of the show, but just because a lot of you guys were not at the desk yet, which, I mean, come on, like, get on my desk level.
Well, what were you guys doing earlier that you weren't here?
Get into my lobby.
Welcome to my lobby. But great comment here from Shades. Welcome back to the desk, Shades.
Like, what's more important than us?
O-line coach forgot blocking tonight. Boys, let the old man get beat up. And
that was brutal.
As much as Aaron Rodgers underperformed, and I think that you look at these, you look at the stat line, he underperformed. The O-line, and I said the same thing about Justin Herbert. The O-line was absolutely brutal today. You were just getting no help whatsoever. And for Aaron Rodgers, he's not a mobile quarterback. He's a quarterback with a cannon of an arm. He's never been super mobile, but at 41, he's less mobile than he ever was. And he needs time in the pocket. It's not a Josh Allen who can go out there and be Superman, right? So I feel for Aaron Rodgers, it's tough to say, and I understand this O-line really did a number on him, and I totally understand that. And to everyone other points that we were saying too earlier, the Texans have a great defense, but as we're getting to this comment here too, maybe Aaron Rodgers just should have retired sooner. And I kind of wondered that after the Achilles injury when he was in the Jets. I just don't think he has it anymore, right? And I think you really saw it today. Like, he just can't. And
he should have retired after the Achilles injury. Like that, that's a tough injury to come. Like, let's talk about the athletes. Like, that changes an athlete. Like, Kobe Bryant, like, continued to play after his Achilles injury, of course. But he was never the same player after he tore his Achilles.
No, he wasn't.
And there's been tons of players that have torn their Achilles and have just looked absolutely horrendous after it. I think it became very apparent the next season, when he started playing again, that he was not the same quarterback. He still had his arm, but that torn Achilles just ruined any other mobility that he had. And it was just bad. Like, it was just brutal seeing a great quarterback just be, like, ponied out there basically by the Steelers and the Jets the last, like, 3 years. And it's bad to see, but it's like Rodgers should have had the wherewithal to step away from the game before the game.
Yeah.
I love this quote that I don't remember who said it, but it was, walk away from the game before the game, or leave the game before the game leaves you.
That totally sounds like a song. You got to leave the game before the game leaves you.
That sounds like a game quote.
That does sound like the game, actually. But I do agree with this comment here, and Rodgers just can't create that magic anymore. And I mean, you look at, I'm going to use Josh Allen as a prime example, as much as I've been ripped on for my take on Josh Allen. Josh Allen is able to be Superman. And Aaron Rodgers can still throw the ball. He can still deliver accurate passes. He can still hit a 60-yard pass and put it in your arm like beautifully. But he can't make those magic plays anymore. And I think it's time for Aaron Rodgers to hang up the cleats. However, I also think it's time that Mike Tomlin is fired.
There's no way they can keep Mike Tomlin after this.
You can't. He's lost
This was a
7 straight
disaster.
playoff games.
But
5
this game
of them
was the
by
worst.
multiple scores.
This game was
Enough
as bad.
is enough.
Well, Jacob, this was probably their worst playoff loss since they got blown out by the Patriots in the AFC championship game, how many years ago that was.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way Mike Tomlin, like, after Harbaugh was fired, I truly do believe Tomlin will get fired for this, because Tomlin and Harbaugh have survived so much over their 10 years as coaches. There's no way Tomlin survives.
Well, it's interesting.
There's no reason to fire. There's no reason not to fire him.
But I mean, I was watching a little bit of Sports Center at Jay Onroy, and Luke Wilson was on there with them, and so it was Dave Naylor's segment actually that I was really into, and they were kind of saying like, there's a good chance Mike Tomlin could be fired, but he probably won't be.
Yeah,
but it's interesting.
It's a bad decision.
It's interesting in this comment. We're gonna have 2 legendary NFL quarterbacks available. So which one does Miami hire?
Harbaugh.
You think Harbaugh to Miami?
Yeah.
You know what? Aaron Rodgers.
I truly do.
Aaron Rodgers, go to Miami.
Because I think,
opinion,
I think in my opinion, what Miami needs
lots of beaches
is, especially after McDaniel, I think Miami needs stability. They need a reliable, experienced coach who can lead them back to the playoffs, whether that is with Tua. I don't think it is anymore.
I don't think it is either.
I think, personally, I know we talked about Justin Herbert's career not being over. I think Tua's career is dead in the water. I don't think there's a way Tua comes back at this point. I thought he should have retired after his 2 concussions inside of the state. Like, he's had so many serious concussions.
Yeah.
And this guy, despite medical advice, which I truly refuse to believe medical personnel didn't tell this man to retire, he is holding on to a career that is going to kill him. Like, and I don't mean to be like being dramatic or something.
Concussions are a serious deal.
This like, Tua needs to step away from the game, because this, like, I also don't think Miami can continue to have him as a starting quarterback.
You can't, not after this year.
He is a disaster. Like, he doesn't look anything like the quarterback we saw at Alabama, and the quarterback who had so much promise heading into the NFL. And it's been a disaster season after disaster season after disaster season. Like, the Giants not firing their GM is a disaster. Like, how did they, like, firing their head coach was a deserved firing. How that GM still has a job, especially after losing Saquon the way they lost Saquon.
And I mean, I know the Eagles lost this in the wild card, but Saquon played phenomenal again.
Yeah, like,
I will say this: I'm curious about your guys' take, because I have a little bit of an interesting one on Mr. Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know if you guys will like it or not. Could you see a team like the Giants bringing in Aaron Rodgers to mentor Jackson?
Oh yeah,
Dart?
I could see that.
I could see. I think Aaron Rodgers would be a perfect McLeod, Bethel Thompson to Davis Alexander. And yes, I'm using CFL references again. Bite me. Actually, don't bite me, Lane. But
I think the difference in this situation is that I don't think necessarily Rodgers needs to come in and start the whole year, because I think Dart has shown.
That's a good point.
What about Russell Wilson? Do you think he retires?
Is that Russell Wilson or that Winston dude? I forget his.
No, Russell Wilson. He started the year with the Giants.
You mean
Jameis
Winston?
Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Winston. I love Jameis Winston. He is just a vibes guy. Him and Jackson Dart seem to have a good rapport.
Yeah, so he's saying they do have Jameis and Winston, and maybe he's the. I will say I actually like Jameson Winston.
I will say though,
he's a fun guy.
An important thing for the Giants is that the Giants don't need Rodgers to come in and start any games. When you think about it, like I think he could come in, and if they need him to start games to start the year, yeah, you can have that because they're not expected to do much next season.
No.
But Dart has shown a ton of flashes of brilliance. And I think having a Jameis Winston, despite what a lot of people want to say about the guy, he didn't have the best NFL career. He still threw 30 touchdowns, had 30 interceptions, but threw over 5,000 yards. Like, the guy's got a cannon of an arm, and he was a good quarterback. And then I think having a legend like Aaron Rodgers there with Jackson Dart can only elevate his understanding and learning of the game at that position. And I think with the flashes he's already shown, like, I think that could be a good situation.
And I think we've seen too, like, especially in these playoffs in this season, rookie quarterbacks are not going to thrive in the NFL, but give them a couple years under the right system. Like Green Bay does it the best. You look, they had Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers under Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers takes over for Brett Favre. Then as Aaron Rodgers is getting older, they get Jordan Love. They have Jordan Love back up Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years. Then Jordan Love becomes a starter. And I think more teams, like the Vikings, really missed the boat on not keeping Sam Darnold at least another year. And I'm not saying JJ McCarthy's cooked. I've seen people say, "Oh, he's useless." It's like, no, he's a rookie NFL quarterback. Not everyone can be Jaden Daniels, right? I can just come in and figure it out right away. Because again, there's no disrespect to college football. I know we have a lot of passionate college football fans in the chat and on the desk, but there's a big difference between basically a development league and a professional league. I say the same thing when you see college guys who almost win the Heisman come to the CFL and they're terrible, because it's going from playing against people your age and your development stage to professionals who have been doing this for 5, 10, 15 years.
Well, Jacob, I do want to say,
I will say for Tom Brady, he might need to go do something for the Raiders. He co-owns them. Maybe he just needs to get back. Maybe he needs to play again. I don't know. But the Raiders are in deep poop.
So, Jacob, what I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted, again, grievances I have for being interrupted all the time. It is true.
It's not true.
I didn't say
it is.
anything.
It's not true.
Okay. Can I talk now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So oh my God, now I've lost my train of thought because of you.
I think you're lying.
I was going to say that a big reason why I don't think a big struggle for JJ in this transition is not because of the big gap. I think it's also because if you look at his career at Michigan, like, the guy didn't have to throw the football a lot because that wasn't Michigan's offense. Right. Michigan's offense was a big run game. Okay, well, David, shh. I don't really care. Okay. I am always right, David. So you know what? I'm going to ignore that.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, I saw that coming. That's why I stopped talking. But JJ, I think a big issue for him was that he didn't have to throw the football a lot. So I don't think he had the experience in having to throw the football as much as he's had to, which is weird given who's their running back? Aaron Jones. The Minnesota's running back. Am I being dumb?
That sounds right.
He's a great running back, so I don't know why they didn't have him running it more, but he doesn't have the experience of throwing it as much as he's maybe being asked to do in Minnesota. And it's not something I don't think he's used to doing. And I wonder if that's been a little bit of the struggle for him, and I wonder if having the ball being ran a little bit more and him doing RPOs and him getting more and more comfortable doing that, maybe slowly transitioning him into more and more pass plays, will benefit him more than what Minnesota's been trying to do. I don't think Minnesota's coaching staff has done a great job in helping JJ in this transition this year.
Although I think that guy's going to be insane next year. I don't know why. I have a feeling JJ McCarthy's going to be really good next year.
So you're
He's a
thinking
great-
he might
he's
pull
a
the
great
Caleb
quarterback.
Williams, where rookie year,
Yeah.
next year again. You know what? It is a year of.
I don't know. I could be
figuring it
wrong.
out.
It
They
just
have
felt
to
like
That's
bring
what I want to say about the
around
Vikings.
his-
With multiple different quarterbacks, they did find ways to win some games,
it just felt
They
like
have
where-
to.
and they're in a
They,
tough.
they have
conference.
to.
I
They have
could
to
be
build.
wrong.
They have to build their playbook around JJ's strengths.
I just felt like I don't know. I could be wrong. It just felt like towards the end,
He started to figure it out.
Yeah, he started to figure it out. Like those,
Yeah.
once they kind of got eliminated, and it was kind of the pressure was off, and he just kind of like go play. I felt like he really started to like figure it out. I started thinking like, okay, he started putting together some good games. Started to figure out the offense. Started to figure out his running. Started to figure out the plays. Started putting better games together. I'm like, okay, your first year sucked. But your second year, I see it. I see it.
And he's shown good flashes this year. I felt like he's shown some good flashes of what he. Can
I think he'll be like
bring.
the opposite of what's the guy in the Commanders? What's his face?
Jaden
J-
Daniels.
Jaden
Daniels dealt with a lot of injuries this
Yeah, I
year.
know.
I think
just saying,
Jaden
but-
Daniels will bounce
Yeah.
back next year. If I'm the
So do I.
Commanders fan, I'm not worried.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying. I feel like
Yeah,
Jaden
but
will do an opposite.
I understand what you're saying, Lane. I
He'll
understand.
do
what
like
you're
an
saying.
opposite of what that
Yeah.
had. He won't.
It's opposite day. But another thing I want to get into, and I want to jump back to the NHL a little bit here. Montreal Canadiens get a nice 6-3 win over the Vancouver Canucks. And I will say, give Vancouver a lot of credit, because Vancouver is not a good team this year. I think that is a very fair statement. However, they had this game. This game was tied in the second period. And at the third period, Montreal just pulls away with 3 unanswered goals. They get a 6-3 victory. Demidov, if Matthew Schaefer doesn't win Rookie of the Year because they decide not to give it to a defenseman, Demidov is a very good second option. Phenomenal year. 3 assists again tonight. Slavkovsky, goal and 2 assists. Carrier with a nice 2 goals. Nick Suzuki, 2 assists. Cole Caulfield, nice assist, 4 shots. Getting scoring from the back end, too, with Noah Dobson with a nice goal and Mike Matheson. And Oliver Kapanen is turning out to be a real sleeper for the Montreal Canadiens. He is looking very, very good. And they really just dominated Vancouver in a lot of ways, outshooting Vancouver 41-23. So I will say this is a big win for Montreal and an important win, because when you look at the standings, you know, like teams like Buffalo and Toronto and Detroit are, you know, starting to get going. Like Tampa's won 10 straight, Detroit's won 3 straight. Montreal really needed a win today, and they got it, right? So I think if you're Montreal, you got to be feeling good that you needed a big win today just to kind of stay in that top 3, because all of a sudden now the Leafs are only 5 or 6 points behind. I can't do math apparently at 1 a.m, but 5 or 6 points behind the Montreal Canadiens. So all of a sudden for Montreal, you know, when they coming off a loss, they got a really nice bounce back win. I think you got to be excited if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan with this young talent really getting it done, even when you're, you know, you don't have great goaltending, because Dobis doesn't look like he had a phenomenal game again. And, you know, you're probably still missing a true second line center until Haig is finished in college, and maybe you bring him into the system. But yeah, Slavkovsky has reached another level. I would totally agree with that. I think you're starting to see why he was picked first overall by Montreal.
He's found his game.
He has.
I find, because I always felt, and I've talked to the other half of Adam Squared. You guys didn't see him, of course, because I hadn't got my camera working yet.
I've seen him before.
Well, I hope that he's going to be able to make another appearance with us here at the analyst desk.
Absolutely.
But because we've talked about this constantly, is that I think a big thing for Slavkovsky was that his best minutes came with Caulfield and Suzuki. And I felt it's good to see him find his game away from those two, away from the 2 best players on Montreal's team. And it's nice to see he's gone away from them and kind of built his own game and really refined his like power forward game. And he's looked great with Kapanen, and I don't remember who else is on that line. Demidov, sorry, yes.
And Demidov, by the way, 10 goals, 29
Disgusting.
assists, 39 points, +9 in 46 games.
Ivan Demidov is disgusting.
Insane.
But
Now,
then
mind
they
you
have
again,
another
too, and this
crazy.
is the argument that I've made. You're getting a guy who's been playing in the KHL, so he's been playing against. I would argue the KHL is a very close second when it comes to a pure talent of like leagues, right? So he's coming in with a more of an advantage versus other rookies because he's been playing against, adults, professionals versus in development leagues. And I mean, Demidov is coming as advertised. Another one. You can't believe Montreal got him as a 4th round pick. Like, just big ups to Montreal's scouting team. You know what, Montreal scouting team?
But Jacob,
You've earned it.
we want to talk about
Analyst desk round of applause. Most prestigious award.
But Jacob, we want to talk about how good Demidov was in Russia. Well, what's the prospect's name? Zarovsky? He's another.
Slavkovsky.
No, I'm not talking about Slavkovsky. I'm talking about Zarovsky, whatever his last name is.
Mhm.
He's another prospect over in the KHL for the Habs, if I'm not mistaken. That he's looked even better. He's produced even better statistics over in the K than Demidov did at the same age. Let me find out what his name is again.
Montreal, it's scary how many good prospects they have. You also have Haig, who I thought in the World Juniors absolutely dominated. And when you look at this Montreal team, they just have so many pieces.
Yes, I found him. It is Alexander Zarovsky. He plays for Solvet Ualav in the K, and so far this season he has 32 points in 36 games played. And he's 18 years old.
My bad there. I don't know why I had in my head Demidov was a 4th round draft pick. I mean, if it was, that would have been crazy. But even 5th overall, maybe he should have been 1st overall that year. I'm not sure who was 1st overall that year, but I mean, like Demidov.
What year was it, Jacob?
What year was Demidov drafted? That is
I thought you had that in front of you.
2024.
So that was Selly.
Okay, so maybe not 1st overall because
That was the
Celebrini, I
Selly
think, could win
draft.
the MVP this year.
But like, let's talk about Demidov in 24-25. So that was his last year at the KHL. So that was last year. He had 49 points in 65 games. Zarovsky has played just 36 games and has 32 points.
Wow.
He needs just 17 more, and he's not even like halfway. He's not even played half of what. Or no, he has 29 games to get 17 points, basically.
And
to
also,
tie
this
what
comment
Demidov
here,
did
it's
last
very
year.
true. Like the KHL, it's a wider ice. It's really big and aggressive. Like actually, I've watched some KHL games, and it's not in person.
Yeah,
I've
the
been to
KHL is
Motherland.
KHL is a crazy league.
KHL is a crazy league. And to point out, too,
They
here,
produced
Habs
amazing
drafted
talents.
Slavkovsky, Hudson, and Fowler in the same draft. Like, again, scouting by Montreal has just been phenomenal of late.
I also think a bit of luck comes into it that they fell.
sure.
It does, but at the same time, you got to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good.
Yeah, it's not like Winnipeg. Oh my! I seen that thing about all the draft picks Winnipeg's drafted over the last 4 years. Oh boy!
Well, they've handled like Brad Lambert's finish, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Something's gotta give him Winnipeg, too. Better of late,
the way they tried to develop him was just horrendous. Like they
Like,
fumbled.
I don't
I
think that-
remember when he played in the World Juniors, he was great for Finland, but it's like the way Winnipeg has gone about in developing him as a prospect has just been disastrous. I think, and I always go back to this example. Sometimes when I think about developing prospects, and a good way to go about it was Willie, because Willie was playing in the SHL, the Swedish Elite League, or the SEL, whatever it's called, the Swedish Elite League, because he played there with his dad and his brother Alex. They all played together, actually, which is pretty funny to me. But I remember because he played in the Swedish League, came over the last year he played there. He came over for like the last month or two of the AHL season. And then, of course, came back, stayed in the AHL the next year, went to the World Juniors, got hurt, but was on a tear before. And I think, and then because he was a center coming over, they transitioned him to the wing, and he's just played phenomenally on the wing. But I felt like the way they went about, and it's the same thing with Demidov. I thought Montreal's gone a great way of developing Demidov and not giving him a crazy amount of ice time. I thought they've done a phenomenal job developing him as a prospect. But then there's like examples of just like Alexei Lafreniere, how he was handled. Disastrous.
The way the Leafs handled
like,
Kadri originally.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Kadri was a bat. Well, I think Willie was kind of held.
Great
I think
comment.
Willie came up a
Love
year
non-emotive back in the chat.
He could have played a lot earlier. I thought Mitch Marner could have come in like a year earlier. Like,
Well, Marner was a total disaster just because of all the off-ice BS.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't
Like,
think
it
any of
just
that
was
stuff
not
helped.
handled well at all.
Well, like he could have played. He could have had his rookie year the year after he was drafted. He didn't need to go back, in my opinion, at least. Because he had just dominated the CHL the year before, and then he gets sent back, which was just so random. But they wanted to tank, of course. But I don't think Mitch Marner was going to really change the Leafs' fortune that year that much. That team was a disaster.
No, I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, I do think the way teams develop prospects, like you look at San Jose, that's another example of a team that's really done a good job at finding really, really good players in, through the draft. Or Detroit was a great example back in the day, getting these 7th round picks who was just awesome. Lane, do you need me to wake up Dan to dance for you? That's a question in the chat.
Of course. Go wake him up.
But I do want to say that I think a big
This is an interesting
thing
point too.
I think
Montreal.
a big thing for that would change player development, I think, is getting rid of the rule in the AHL where you can't the rule is different for international players. You can come right over and play in the A. But for like North American born skaters, you have to have played a certain amount of games in the CHL, and you have to be 19, I think
Just
it is,
so
19 or
stupid.
20. It's a dumb rule. They should scrap that and make it you can come in right after being drafted. Like,
Well,
I think
because
it's a
you get guys
useless
like
rule.
Easton Cowan, I think, is a prime example.
Shane Wright was another player.
Shane
that
Wright's
needed to
another
go
one.
in the
Too
AHL
good for the
right away.
CHL, not NHL ready. So they're in this really weird bubble where they're not. Imagine if Easton Cowan had a
could
year
go
in the
down
AHL going
Easton
into
Cowan
this
could
year.
go down into the AHL.
No,
He's
I mean
eligible.
last year,
Oh yeah.
right? Because Easton Cowan dominated in the OHL last year. So think if you could have put Easton Cowan in the AHL last year, give him a year of development, in another level. And I do wonder if more players are going to start doing that when their CHL career is over. Then, especially the ones that are drafted, but they're not going to make it the NHL right away. Are they going to go the NCAA route now that you can do
Probably
that?
there.
Right? And that's where I think that's where you start to see more and more development happening. But there is another game I want to speak about. So we had another Canadian team in action tonight. And that was the Edmonton Oilers getting a very nice 4-1 win over the Blackhawks. Sorry, David. I know you're a Blackhawks fan. But the Edmonton Oilers, they're a very weird team when you actually start to look at their year. They seem to like win 2, lose 1 a lot, which is why their record for the talent they have is not as good as maybe you would think. But Evan Bouchard of a big game, a big night tonight or yesterday, depending on what time zone you're living in. 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. Now, how many giveaways did he have on top of that? We don't know, just because I find that's Evan Bouchard's game. Connor McDavid, another big game, 2 assists. Zach Hyman, still think he should have been on Team Canada. Goal and an assist, had a really nice night again. And Leon Draisaitl with the goal. And Connor Ingram, making 29 of 30 saves. He hasn't looked terrible since he's been called up, actually. He's got a .904 save percentage, a 2.70 goals against average. Connor Ingram is actually bringing in some half-decent goaltending, and I think he may end up being the backup once Tristan Jarry's healthy again. He's actually looked okay. And Edmonton's getting some consistent goaltending now, at least enough of it. And they got a big win today with, their star players being star players. But I am curious what you guys feel. Do you guys worry every time you look at an Edmonton score sheet, it's the same 5 guys putting up the points? Is that a concern?
Yes, 100%, because that's what killed them. That's what Like, I hate to say it. That's why they never got so far, because they didn't have depth. The reason why they got to the Stanley Cup final, the reason Edmonton stopped becoming the Leafs and became Edmonton and actually started going far in playoffs and started doing things is because they actually had depth. They went out and acquired guys like Corey Perry, like who's the guy? Like a Jeff Skinner. Like, they started getting guys that could actually play.
Another one.
Holloway. They had guys that Warren Fogle. They had guys that could play on third and fourth lines that put in points, that just wasn't relying on Draisaitl, Bouchard, McDavid, and Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. They actually had other guys that could put the puck in the net,
which they don't have that. I mean,
and they don't have that now.
Had a decent night, no points, but 3 shots. Because Barry Kapanen's been good since he's came off the injured list, but I think for Edmonton it's tough. Like Andrew Mangiapane was a guy that I think they thought was going to come in, he was going to bring in secondary scoring, and always brought in headlines about how bad he is. Like he has 11 points in 41 games and he's a -17. And the weird thing of Mangiapane is, if you go back to 2021, 2022, this guy scored 35 goals with Calgary. And I remember back when he played for the Barrie Colts. This guy can play. It's crazy to me that all of a sudden he had a decent year in Washington last year of 14 goals, 14 assists. But he can't seem to get back to where he was at in 21-22. I actually thought he was going to with Edmonton, and it hasn't worked out. And I agree with you, Lane. As much as Edmonton, they get a win today. That's great. Good for them. I'll buy them a lollipop. But you need to find someone else to provide secondary scoring. It can't be McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Bouchard every night. Because it's basically, if you can shut down those 4 or 5 players, you've shut down the Oilers. And I think this is where, not to always bring it back to the Leafs, but this is where the Leafs have gone a bit of a different road. And now they have a depth in their lineup. Like Jack Roslovic, I thought was a great signing when it happened. And he hasn't been able to do it. He's got 20 points in 33 games, not bad, but he's got no points over his last 5, and actually more than his last 5. He has no points over his last 6. 6 is so much bigger than 5. I know, it's mind-blowing. Adam's shocked, but but Adam, when Lane and I are talking about that with the Oilers, do you think Edmonton's a team? Everyone talks about Toronto having to make a move at the deadline. Everyone's talking about Ottawa has to go get a goaltender, as much as, Optimus Rhyme, I don't think is going to fix the problems in Ottawa. Do you see Edmonton as, if they don't make a move, they're not a contender?
They're not a contender. I've said this since the start of the summer. They're not a contender. Their moves were crap. They made this year are crap. No, Jacob, I don't know what you said, but they were crap in the offseason.
That's what I said.
They're worse now. I could care less what Edmonton does this year. They're not contenders. They shouldn't have. I will say this because I thought this the last 2 seasons when they made the Cup finals. They were lucky to get into the finals. Mm-hmm. And then they got dog walked by Florida. And Florida showed exactly why they were the best team in hockey the last 2 years. They dog walked. The Oilers are lucky 2 years ago when they got to 7. They got lucky. And then they got dog walked last year. Simple as that. Edmonton were pretenders the last 2 years. They're pretenders this year. They're not going to win a cup. They don't have the depth. I didn't think they had the depth the last 2 years anyways.
And they have more depth than they do now.
The goaltending situation, horrendous. Defensive situation, horrendous.
And I don't know if you guys would agree with me. I don't think Tristan Jarry was really much, if not even an upgrade. The guy has next to no playoff experience, and when the little playoff experience he had, he got lit up. I'm very curious to see, when they don't get it done without Stuart Skinner, who becomes the scapegoat in Edmonton, right? And I know some people were saying at a show previously, Connor McDavid, and I think it's more Edmonton. I think this. I don't know if you guys would agree with me or not. I think this year for the Oilers, they came into this year almost calling it a write-off, saying the cap's going up. Let's just not make any moves. We'll do what we do, and we'll reload over the next 3 years after this year while we have McDavid locked down on a team-friendly deal.
Feels like that's exactly what they did.
That's what it feels like to me. Because like when Toronto lost Marner, they did a lot of work to retool the roster. When Edmonton lost all their role players, they got Mangiapane and Jack Roslovic, and that's it. And stuck with Skinner and Pickard for the offseason, even when John Gibson was available for next to nothing. And Shelovs was available for next to nothing. Like, there were goaltenders available, and they just didn't pursue any of them. So, I don't know. The Oilers get the win tonight. That's great. They are 6-3-1 in their last 10, but they are a team that seems to win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1. However, they are only 1 point behind the Vegas Golden Knights for top in the Pacific. Actually, I think Vegas is another team that I've been disappointed with this year. The Carter Hart experiment is not working at all. And I think we're going to have a very interesting second half of the NHL season, which, just so our viewers know, we are going to be doing a first half recap episode that will be dropping hopefully by no later than Monday. So stay tuned for that. Plus, Lane is going to be doing a whole bunch of simulation games of the NFL coming up.
Yeah,
I may even join Lane for one of them, which is incredible.
Whoa, I got to see that to believe that.
Yeah.
But guys, yeah.
Just
We're
to
gonna make the
remind you,
announcement?
for all those NFL games.
Oh,
coming,
yeah, Jacob, you got to make an announcement.
Are we
do.
going to make the announcement that we were talking about, or
I
we're
will,
going to do that
yes,
tonight?
and then I'm going to post another one. But just quickly here for our divisional round, we got the Bills and Broncos on Saturday, San Francisco 49ers versus Seahawks. Then we got the Texans versus Patriots, and the Rams versus the Bears. So obviously we have some big games coming up, but we do want to wrap up the show. But before we wrap up the show, in our last previous show, people were asking us about a watch party. You want to see Lane's reactions every time the Leafs do something right or they do something wrong. Will Lane set his house on fire? You can find out with us on Thursday when the Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Vegas Golden Knights, because you know what we're going to do? We're going to go live for the entire game, do a pregame show. We're going to go live for the whole game with a watch party, watch the game with us, see our reactions, and have a good time. We're going to talk in the comment section. We're going to watch the game live. Lane's going to do some play-by-play. Adam and I are going to look really pretty. And we're going to have an awesome watch party. So make sure
you guys are going to hate seeing us by the end of the night.
Lane,
That's
apparently
good.
you can't set your house on fire, so please don't.
Oh,
Your house is on fire.
now I'm sad.
But we're going to be doing that this Thursday, so please make sure that you are at the desk this Thursday. What time does that game start? 9:30?
9:30, I think it
So
is.
we'll probably be coming around 9:15 that evening. So grab your popcorn for Thursday night, and we're gonna watch that game together on the desk. It will probably it'll even be longer than our NHL entry draft episode. That was long, but I'm very excited for that one.
Can't wait to run that back next year.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
no!
No,
I'm now a permanent fixture on this podcast, so I don't have to
Yeah.
get dragged into
Podcast!
it 5 hours in.
But I do
I
want to
get
thank
to do it
everyone
from
for
the
joining
start.
us at the desk tonight. It is 2 a.m. Where we live. So we'll quickly run through these last few comments. Then we got to go. Yeah, Send fans already chirping the Reimer signing. We talked about it a little bit in the earlier show. It's an interesting signing. Not really sure if that's going to work out. I think they could have found better goaltending than Optimus Rhymes, who couldn't keep a starting job in the Spangler Cup. Did get absolutely lit up in the first game in Belleville. So time will
I don't know
tell.
why they signed him to an NHL contract. Okay,
I
move
don't
on.
know. One game lets in what, 6 or 7 goals? I don't remember.
6, 7.
I wasn't trying to
Shout
do that.
out for my nephew right there.
You
my
know what,
nephew
Adam?
loves
On
doing
that, I'm done. We're done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
It's
for
cute
watching
when he
the
does it.
episode. Again, appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate Lane and Adam who decided to hang out with me until 2 a.m. That's a life decision. They're gonna
Jacob, that's
regret.
your fault, not my
True.
fault. I didn't
But-
make that choice.
Yeah, for everyone who thinks I'm tired, for everyone who thinks I'm tired, me and Dan have been recording games the last days till like 4 a.m. So for people who think I'm sad, I know I'm just over the time because we have to record so many football games. But we love doing it for you. We love the watch time. We love how all the appreciation, the respect, the fans, everything. We do it for you because we love you guys.
I've never heard Lane says he loves me, yet he loves all of you
Wow.
doesn't
That's
love
not
you.
true, Jacob. I tell Jacob, I think I miss him every 5 minutes and saying, I love Jacob.
I think you're lying.
Ollie.
I think
It's
you
not
know
true.
me.
But
It is
remember,
true.
everyone,
You think you know me?
Subscribe to our channel.
subscribe to the channel. Our next goal is 150 subscribers, so we'd really appreciate if all you guys can subscribe to help us get there. You wouldn't believe how many viewers view the shows and don't subscribe. Makes a huge difference for us. But thank you very much for watching. We'll be back later in the week with lots more content, especially on Thursday for our first ever watch party. Can't wait to watch the Leafs versus Golden Knights with everyone. Have a very good night, guys. We will see you later. And remember, every time you're at the analyst desk, it always feels like game day. Peace out, Girl Scout.